Oh my goodness. There we go.
Long time
How
no
are you?
see, friend.
Right. Long time. You have earrings.
Always have.
What?
Well,
Oh,
actually, I had them out for years. I did put them back in a number of years ago, but I had them pierced when I was in Australia at 19, and just wasn't wearing them. Then had to break
also,
loose, and
and your hair was longer, so maybe I didn't see it through the hair.
maybe, but yeah, I did put them back in a number of years ago, and we haven't seen each other for a decade or more. So
Actually? Wow. Crazy.
yeah,
Well, we stay in touch in other ways. You never change, Wade. You and I both running late today. It's just the way it goes.
yeah.
Um, you lecturing me about why do we have things in Eastern time if we're both on Mountain time? What is your problem? But
Totally unexpected. Like if I was doing Savvy Investor, I can understand it because he's back east. But anyway,
well,
we're here.
we're here. We made it. You've got a great new haircut. You look
I feel
stunning.
good, looking
We're
good.
ready to roll.
Hey,
All right, Wade. So, if you guys, so welcome everybody to Tactical Tuesday. If you don't know who I am, I'm Tiffany. I am the co-founder of Investor Life. I've been investing for 25 years. I help other people scale, but scale within reason. Okay. So, still have a life while they do so and do it so they don't burn out. That is what I do. Wade has been doing this longer than I have and was one of those gurus when I was just deer in the headlights looking around the room trying to figure out what to do. Um, when I talk to him, I'm still deer in the headlights because his brain, you guys, goes just. Ah. But the beautiful thing about it is if you need a transaction engineer, if you need to know how to deal to make a deal work, Wade's the guy to go to. In fact, I remember one of my first foreclosures. One of my very first ones, I had this mom call me. I put out some marketing, to foreclosures. Had this mom of five, I think she had five kids. And she's like, I got your letter. I'm a few days away from being evicted. I don't know what I'll do, where I'll go. And she was so far into the foreclosure process that it completely overwhelmed me. I called Wade right away. I'm like, hey, Wade, I've got a lead for you. Wade, you ended up buying that house, right? You remember this?
yeah. Now, did I buy it or did I just tell you what to do to deal with it? So
No,
I remember there was a something where I didn't just take your deal, that there was some.
reciprocity.
Yeah, something there that, because we were on the Mike at the Rain thing too, and I can't remember the exact details. Anyway, it
Okay, so I'll tell you the story. I'll remind you because this is the problem when you've got hundreds and hundreds of deals is you don't remember them. So this is Wade not remembering every deal. So I called Wade and I just said, "Hey, listen, there's the situation. I don't know. I can't be responsible for five kids on the street. So, but I think we can make this happen." Now you remember?
okay, well, no, because I remember the moment, and because we were talking about it at Acre on the microphone, and I think what I did is I said you didn't know what to do with it, so I think I gave you and your partner free tickets to my 2-day seminar, so you'll learn what to do with it next time.
Well,
Something like that.
so this is what you actually did. You said to me, "I will walk you through it." And I'm like, "Heck no, Wade. There's five kids on the line. This is too much pressure for me. I need you to deal with it." You dealt with it. You bought the house from her. You rented it back to her for a number of years, and I know that because she actually didn't live far from me. So
Yeah.
it was in Devon. And then what you did was you called me up to the microphone at Rain one day out of the blue. I'm just sitting there and you're like, "Hey, come up to the microphone." And you handed me a check and you gave me a finder's fee on that deal, which was,
Okay.
yeah,
I remember doing something because it
of
was at
course.
it was at Acre, 500 people in the room. I just didn't remember exactly what I did. I
That
I
was
hope
it.
I hope it was a big one.
For me. it was huge. It was massive, and it really taught me to give back. So that's one thing that you guys will definitely learn from Wade. Wade is one of those relationships people. So he's been around in real estate for 30 some years now.
I
How
I
many?
I joined Rain November 1995, and then I quit Rain in 2020. So 24 and a half years in the Rain group, but I came to Alberta in 1997 to do real estate with a
So let's talk
bicycle.
about that, Wade. Yeah, let's talk about that. How'd you start in real estate, Wade? Did you have like a you had like a posh BMW roll up to people's houses and be like, "Yo, here's a cash offer for
So
your phone."
so I had studied late night infomercials for years and years. Um, I was living in Vancouver. Well, yeah, I was living in Vancouver at the time. I I was working for a high-rise development company. I got transferred to Nanaimo for a year and a half, transferred back to Vancouver. The first week back at work, I had an epileptic seizure on the job site. I lost my driver's license for 18 months, and they waited 3 months and fired me. I moved to Calgary. 2 months later, I bought a bicycle. A month later, I did my first deal. And then in the last 9 months of the first year, I flipped 7 houses, starting with a cash advance off 2 credit cards, a cell phone, and a bicycle. And from 1997 to 2007, which was like the big global meltdown, I'd flipped over 100 houses, owned 30, had put together my own 2-day real estate course that I taught over 30 times, had a mentoring program and whatnot. And then when the big global meltdown happened, kind of got out of it. I became a realtor for a number of years, went off and started another business. And then just recently, like in the last 6, 7 months, getting back into real estate full time.
Okay, there's so much there that we need to ask questions about, but let me start with why are you back? So all these years, all this experience, you left for a bit, which a lot of people have, but you're back. Why now, Wade? Why right now?
Um, well, but I got sick of running the construction business that I had started in 2017 and decided middle of the summer 2024 to shut it down. It took a long time to unwind and sell off all the equipment and stuff. And I kind of took 2025 kind of easy and then started working on my marketing late 25 and then 2026 just hitting the ground running.
Yeah, like hitting the ground running for sure. Okay, guys, I just got the live feed up, so now I can see your comments. Wow, what a story. Holy gosh, Wade. Um, if Wade can do it from a bicycle, we have no excuses. Yeah. So for those of you that are watching, say hi to Wade. Let us know where you're from. Let us know if you're inspired by that little story. This is a thing with Wade. He's this guy that just like looks like he's just the guy next door. He's always just that buddy friend of yours, will help anyone. You'd have no idea of the things that he's able to accomplish in his brain. He called me the other day and I was like, Wade, I've been like itchy to get back to our phone call. Tell you that much. We had to hang up like 3, 4 times because his brain, he's like, this is what you need to do. This because I'm a guest on your thing and I saw this email and now I'm understanding what you need to do. And this is his brain just goes and it is incredible. So guys, Igniteds, here's the good news, Igniteds. Wade's going to join us after in our later session, and we're going to get to pick this engineering transaction brain that he's got. If you have a problem, if you have a question, ask Wade. If you need out of a tough situation, ask Wade. If you need to know how to make something happen, ask Wade. So we should have a segment called Ask Wade.
I actually own the domain askwade.com or whatever, and it's coming
Of
up for
course
like
you do.
I've never used it, but I've always wanted to. So
What?
I should have a segment every week or something. Ask Wade, fire in your questions, because the I had the 2-day real estate course, but then I started a monthly mentoring, and that's how it was. I just did a 4 hour open mic Q&A. Stand there, have people that had taken my seminar ask questions. They could get on the mic and talk about their experience doing something, and it was great. They just and then because we would all meet in Red Deer, coming from Calgary and Edmonton, and
Okay.
the hotel had a big buffet on Sundays, so lots of us would hang out for the buffet and do that every month. It was great.
So Wade says to me the other day, "Oh, you must have been in my program." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think so because I couldn't afford two pennies to rub together. So I really don't think so." But anyways, welcome guys. We got people from all over the place. Ontario, Saskatchewan, Fort McMurray, let me see here, Halifax, couple in the States. So guys, we are here to pick Wade's brain. Now, this is what I want to talk about. Wade is coming back into this market right now. So are a bunch of others that had been in the market for a very long time, left for a bit, maybe held on to some stuff, maybe didn't, are all back now. And every single one that I've talked to, it's because the timing is right. Wade, I feel it in the air. Do you feel it in the air?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do. Matter of fact,
Right? It's just
yeah.
there's just this buzz. Now I've only been through this, maybe this is my third time, this is probably your fourth time, but there's just something in the air. So I want to talk to you about motivated sellers. So guys, as you have heard, I have gone on and on about saying there are motivated sellers now back as options. The last, say, 7, 8 years, maybe 9 years, this hasn't been top of mind because there weren't a lot of motivated sellers. Most markets were doing amazing, and if they want to sell their house tomorrow for more than they made, they could sell it. Now we're starting to see people in a little bit of positions where they need to, you know, talk to people like us and dispose of their properties, hopefully, while still winning in some way. But they're stuck. There's a lot of stuck people. So Wade, talking to motivated sellers, you've come in big into that realm right away, like hit the ground running like you always do. Tell us about your last deal. I love the story.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna change the theme a little bit to not just be motivated sellers, just how I talk to sellers. Is that okay?
People. Yeah,
People,
humans.
people.
Yeah.
So, I just did a deal recently. In fact, it was two weeks ago Friday when I got the phone call. Um, and I found out afterwards because this lady was in town to deal with her father's estate, and then a couple days later, her other sister came to town, and I took them out for dinner and asked them some questions about the other people that they had contacted, and so they had reached out online to three or four we buy houses type of people, and they didn't get past the email stage with any of them. I was the only person they talked to on the phone or met. And it was the initial conversation that led to that coming out. So what they told me when we're having dinner is that so
Hey,
they're
dinner with them. Okay, so just to be clear, guys, these are people that are in a bit of a rough situation. Their parent has passed away. They're in town for a limited amount of time in order to sell a house. They've been inundated with different people somehow finding out about this and saying like, or maybe they've contacted them. I don't know, but like, how do we buy your house cash or fast or whatever it might be? And now you're having dinner with them, Wade?
Well, I had dinner with them after doing the deal, so I'll
Okay.
go back to the initial phone call.
Okay.
Um, well, I just want to explain, sorry, what they told me about the other people they talked to, and then I'll go from back to the beginning. So they told me that they were reaching out to websites, people who we buy houses. The one person that they were chatting with, either an AI chat box or something, said, "Oh, your property has to go to probate. Well, we want to do deals now. Goodbye." Click, hung up the phone. The other one where it was an email, and they're going back and forth, and the person said, well, when you got probate finished and you're ready to do something, call us. My little AI, it was actually our first lead through the AI. It I haven't looked at the notes, so I don't even know what that said. But it led her to emailing me and then going to our form to fill in the information. So I saw that. So I could have done what other people did and just email back. I I didn't. I just picked up the phone and phoned her and said, "I just got your email. Tell me what's going on." And so she said her father was in the hospital. He's going to another one to put him into what do you call it? Oh, a hospice. So this was Friday, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I said, and they said, my sister's coming to town. I can't show you the property for 4 or 5 days. And because we're going to do everything together. She's the executor, even, but he was still alive. And and so I
Wow.
said, I would like to meet with you before that, just to meet because I'm a face-to-face person. We don't have to talk real estate. I just want to meet you for 20 minutes, have a coffee, and just start to establish a little personal connection. And she agreed to that. So this was Friday. We're on the phone. I met her Sunday, and her father had passed away Friday night. So now it wasn't going to hospice. It is now dealing with the estate. So, um, so,
Aw.
so we met for coffee, and I didn't talk about the real estate. I didn't ask questions, none of that, because she'd already told me she wants to do it together with her sister, who's the executor. I did explain a few things that how I arrive at a price is as an investor, I look at what's after repaired value and work the math backwards. She was talking, like even in the email, oh, the tax assessed value is this. Tax department doesn't know what the property looks like. They have no idea the condition. So I said it's kind of irrelevant. We look at after repaired value, minus all your renovation expenses, legal fees, everything, and a reasonable profit. And that's how we arrive at a price. And that's about the only thing that I really talked about with real estate. Um, so she was, we're talking about life in general and the estate. And I said, well, do you need a lawyer for the probate? I said, I'll contact my lawyer who's in a pretty big firm and see who they recommend. You're free to talk to them. You don't have to use them. I'll just get the ball rolling a bit and give you some advice. And so when we're having coffee for 20 minutes, I was, the intention was just to connect us two people and be helpful. So the number one thing that is always going through my mind when somebody calls me, and there's times somebody calls me and in 2 minutes I know I'm not buying their house, there's no motivation, and I'll still spend 20 minutes on the phone helping them because why not? We're here. I want to be a helpful guy and still
A
give
good
them.
human.
Right, and just be human and say I can refer you to a realtor if you want, or here's some tips. If you want any advice, just call me again later and I'll help you out. No big deal. Maybe I get a good review out of it or something. But they're on the phone, so might as well just be helpful. So
So,
having
like George says, you're being of service, you're being a good human, you might get something out of it, but even if you don't, you're like, these people are in a rough place. They need a little bit of
right,
direction, and I have contacts that can help them. So start with being a good human. Also, I'm just going to read a couple things. So, Wade, we have 5 minutes left in the big group, and then we go into our private group. So,
okay,
like, right? Holy Hannah. But, anyways, I just want to say one thing. So, Neil Taniguchi. Neil, guys, is another one. Neil, we need to have you on our show. Okay. We need to have you very soon. Neil says, Wade, mentor, man of character and integrity, proud to call him my friend. Again, Neil is this vault of information, this vault of knowledge and goodness. Guys, these are the people that you want to connect with. Now, don't connect with them to pick their brains. WadeBuysHouses.com. But you know what? If you have a referral for them, or if you have something that can help them, or if like give to these people, because one day, trust me, you're going to want to get back. Wade, we're going to still do Q&A in our Ignited Laser session. Those of you, some people have been reaching out and saying like, hey, how do I get in on that? If you're interested in Ignited and you want some mentorship and you want to get in on these more intimate, like drill down and ask one-on-one Zoom calls, you can always book a call. We can talk about you becoming an Ignited member and really just igniting your journey. But anyways, in the meantime, how did this end up? So you explained to them, and this is a good point too. You were literally clear with them. Look, this is how I establish the value. You can say what you want as to value. You can say what you want. A realtor can say, this is how I do it. It's a formula. There's ARV minus renovations minus fees. This is what I can pay you. If that works for you, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. So you're very transparent in what you say. What next? How did that deal kind of come down?
Okay, so we had coffee, and I think it was maybe 3 or 4 days later, her sister arrived. I met them again at the property, had the introduction to her sister. I covered over a couple of things with the sister to basically kind of get her up to speed with my format. And I said, I'm just going to talk to you, not as if the guy buying your house, but just like as if I was a friend that you knew who knew real estate. And I'm just going to talk to you as an advisor, and where it goes is where it goes. And like I just want to be helpful and give you information. And one day at a time, we'll see where this whole conversation about the property goes. So we go inside the house. It was a row house, like a townhouse, but not a condo, and it had a lot of leaks and whatnot. And so we walk through it. I had a roofer come over. He goes on the roof. We talk about that, and I had already made notes, kind of a rough sketch of the expenses to do the deal. And I had showed the first sister that because the second sister was really late coming to the house at the appointed time. And so anyway, a couple more days go by. We meet at Tim Hortons to discuss an offer, and she asked me to show her sister my notes. And so I was pretty transparent. I had a rough sketch of expenses. The roof is 10 grand, this. So kind of like five major line items, plus realtor fees, plus um, like the realtor fee when I go to sell it. So my legal in, legal out, my carrying costs, these are all my expenses. And that number was about 155,000 if I was to renovate it because I hire everything out. That's every expense complete for the whole deal. And I said, if I give you X amount of dollars, that's getting kind of close to tax assessed value. It's about 25,000 away. And I said, anything over that is my profit. And so they're looking at me with kind of a stunned look, and I go, okay, well, that's my offer is this figure that I added to the expenses. And they just said, okay, fine, and signed the deal. Simple as that. And
Because it
like,
makes sense, and because you hit them as humans, not as some investor with
right.
some big fancy language.
So everything was transparent. I treated them respectfully, helping them. They admit the lawyer in my lawyer's office, and it was a lady, and she was very helpful. So they had met her, and they decided to go with her, and so we're sitting there, and so they've been in town a week and a half, and it was as easy as that. From the beginning, I wasn't rushed. I didn't do this. Well, when your probate's finished, call me. I said, I just want to meet with you, connect as two people, offered advice, help them as I could. And that was the way I was through the entire transaction. And then I bought the property, which hasn't closed yet because there is a probate thing going on, but they both had to leave town, one back to Florida, one back to Vancouver Island. So they went in, they signed the title transfer, everything, and now we're waiting for probate to finish. But they wrote me like, one of maybe I'll tear it, one of the most wonderful reviews that I've ever had. And it clearly covered the points that I've talked about so far of being helpful and honest and transparent. And, they're in town for a few weeks dealing with their father, who now just died a few days earlier, and being helpful to get them through everything they needed to do so they could leave the country again.
Hey,
And
let me read the review. So this is working with Wade on our home sale was an incredibly positive experience from start to finish. He was very personable and thoughtful. He genuinely cared about making the process as smooth as possible for us. He took a complicated and stressful situation and turned it into an easy, manageable, and even enjoyable experience. Wade was incredibly responsive, respectful, professional, guiding us through each step with confidence. We really appreciated his what? What? Calm, hang on, positive approach, attention to detail, and the care he showed throughout the process. We would highly recommend Wade to anyone selling their home. These are people that just lost their dad, Wade.
Right.
That's incredible. So guys, we are out of time. I don't know how that went so friggin' quick, but it did. But can I just say, can I please just leave you with the messaging that Wade, you're sticking with us because we're jumping into Ignited now, so don't go anywhere, Wade. But can I just say that if there's anything to learn from someone who has done how many deals, Wade?
It's about 150 at this point.
Okay. Now we've got a lot of experience. A lot of those are private deals, talking specifically straight with vendors, with the
Every
sellers.
every one of them, other than about 13, was one-on-one with a seller direct, not a realtor involved.
Oh wow.
I I
Okay, so I
I,
feel like we have to have you back on to actually talk about how to some of the conversations that you have. Okay, so we have to do this again. Neil, we also have to do this if you're still with us. Um, but you guys, I hope that what you see is that you just have to be a real person. You have to be an actual human. You know what? Some of our igniters are jumping in. I'll just let them in right now. You have to be an actual human. You have to be willing to talk to people one on one, and you have to be transparent. And if you do that, so 140 some deals or 135 deals were done, you're saying, Wade, through just one on
person
one,
person to person, no
person to person.
no middleman involved, and it works for me because it's easy for me to just be me.
Yeah. And it's easy for all of us to just be us, but sometimes we think we have to be something else. So I think that that's really important to say. Now, I need you for a part two. Wait. Good thing we're friends because you're gonna come on, I'm sure. But yeah, we need to talk about how that conversation goes. But yeah, we're still live on TT right now, you guys. Just FYI, I don't know what can be seen and not seen, but some people are starting to jump into the so turn your cameras on, guys. But anyways, wait. No. Okay, hang on, pause. All right. Oh, you can only see Tiff and Wade. Okay. All right, thanks. Okay, guys, join us again, please. We are looking at talking to these people with these brains. We have so many amazing guests coming up, you guys. Also, I'm going to start letting you know that we have an amazing group. And I'm going to start saying this. So my coach today gave me a real good licking and saying, you need to start actually telling people what you have. We have an amazing community. And if you want to be part of an amazing community, please book a call. Because we really, really, really believe in a rising tide rises all boats. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Next week we are, Ange, do you know what we're doing next week? I know you do. I just don't. No? Okay. I have no idea. All right. Anyways, join us next week. We'll see you all then. And Wade, stick around. And cheers, everybody on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week for Tactical Tuesday.